Okay, so our first example says find the LCM or least common multiple of 6xy, 15x squared, and 9xy to the fourth. So in order to do that, the first thing we need to do is factor out each term. So we have 6xy, which is going to factor to 2 times 3 times x times y. So basically we're finding all the prime factors and then factoring out the variables. Next we have 15x squared. So 15 we know is 3 times 5. And then we have a x squared. And then lastly we have 9xy to the fourth. And we know that 9 is 3 squared. And then we have x. And then we have y to the fourth. So here I have everything factored out. And so now that I have to factor it out, my instructions say I need to find the product of the highest value of each factor. So looking at all of these, I need to find the highest value of each factor. So I'm going to start with the 2. I have a 2 here. Do I have a 2 anywhere else? No, I do not. So I'm going to put a 2 down here at the bottom. The next thing I have is a 3. So I have a 3, and a 3 squared. So my highest of the 3's is going to be 3 squared. So I'm going to put that down at the bottom. And then next I have a 5. I don't have any more 5's. So my highest occurrence of 5 is 5. Okay. Then I want to look at the x. I have an x squared, and an x. So my highest occurrence of x is going to be the x squared. That's here. And then lastly, I want to look at the y's. And I have a y and a y to the fourth. And my highest occurrence of y is y to the fourth. So I'm going to put that y to the fourth down here. So when I multiply all of these numbers down here out, then that should give me what my least common multiple is. So I'm going to have 2 times 3 squared, which is 9. And then 2 times 9 is 18. 18 times 5 is 90. So my number value is going to be 90. And then I have x squared y to the fourth. So my least common multiple for 6xy, 15x squared, and 9xy to the fourth is 90x squared y to the fourth. Let's look at another example. Find the least common multiple of 12a squared b, 15abc, and 8b cubed c to the fourth. So of course, the first thing I'm going to do is I need to factor each of these out. So I'm going to factor out 12a squared b. I know that 12 is 2 squared, which is 4, times 3. So that gives me 12 times a squared. I know that 15abc is going to be equal to 3 times 5, which gives me 15 times a times b times c. And then lastly, 8b cubed c to the fourth. I know 8 is 2 to the third. And then I have times b cubed times c to the fourth. So now I need to look for the highest occurrence of each value. I have 2 squared and 2 to the third. So the highest occurrence of 2 is going to be 2 to the third. Then I have a 3 and a 3. So the highest occurrence of 3 is 3. Then I have a 5. So the highest occurrence of 5 is a 5. Then I have a squared and an a. So the highest occurrence of a is going to be a squared. And then I have a b and a b cubed. So the highest occurrence of b is b cubed. And then I have, excuse me, I'm trying to get another color. Let's get a pink. And then I have c and c to the fourth, and the highest occurrence is going to be c to the fourth. Then I'm going to multiply these all out together. So 2 cubed, let's get back to white. 2 cubed is 8 times 3 times 5. And then these will stay a squared, b cubed, and c to the fourth. So 8 times 5 is 40. 40 times 3 is 120. So 120 a squared, b cubed, c to the fourth. So my least common multiple is 120 a squared, b cubed, c to the fourth. Let's go ahead and try one more before we move on. One more of this type rather before we move on to the new type. So we have 13xy to the third, and then 20x squared y squared z, and we want to find the least common multiple. So of course the first thing I need to do, factor it out. So 13xy to the third is going to be 13 times x times y to the third. And then 20x squared y squared z is going to be, 20 is 5 times 4, so that's 2 squared times 5, then times x squared times y squared, and then times z. So I have a 13, so I need that 13. I have an x and an x squared, so I need that x squared. Then I have a y cubed and a y squared, so I need that y cubed. Let's go down to the one that's on the bottom. I have a 2 squared, so I need that 2 squared. Then I have a 5, so I need that 5. And then I have a z, so I need this z. And when I put them all together, let's do some math. So I have 5 times 4 times 13. And then I have x squared, y cubed, and z. See, 5 times 4 is 20, and 13 times 2 is 26. So I keep the 0, x squared, y third, z. So my least common multiple of 13xy to the third and 20x squared y squared z is going to be 260 x squared y cubed z.